Hello, fellow humans. We all carry with us a baggage of hard emotions that are really difficult to explain. Or we think we know the explanations for how we feel, and we tend to find the causes inside us. We end up blaming ourselves for feeling bad, or congratulating ourselves for feeling happy. If we look deeper into how many people like us feel these days, into how we articulate our stress and successes, we find that few people link their feelings with causes outside them. When more than 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck as of September 2023, even if they make more than $100,000 a year, how do we still blame ourselves for our stress? Here's what I hope you can get out of this video. Understand better how we, as a society, have linked our feelings with what the economic system can provide for us. This link has become very unhealthy. This link is what causes our stress. This link is responsible for our emotional traumas. This link is giving us a very unhealthy measure of success and a distorted perception of our positive emotions. I'm talking about the connection between economic growth and quality of life. Economic growth is this idea that the engine of the economy needs to keep spinning, to churn out goods and services so people can use them to increase their quality of life. This engine are all the factories, all the industries, all the banks and insurance companies, hotels and private schools, golf courses and food courts, car dealerships and shopping malls. Armies of humans, trillions of dollars are put to work to make this happen. It seems everything gravitates around this unstoppable, unbreakable, undeniable, massive agitation. If this engine slows down or even stops, we are told society will collapse and we will have to move back into the caves like our ancestors. Is this engine of capitalism really working? Is it doing what it promises to do? We just saw how many Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and that is one of the richest countries in the world. If we look at other countries, it's even worse. In the world, 50% of all humans own just about 6% of all wealth. What does that mean? Those people may not even have the chance to watch this video. By the simple fact you can watch this video, you may already be in a privileged position. This is how we all live in bubbles of very different realities. Capitalism promises that in order to increase the quality of life, we have to grow the economy even more, so everyone on earth can enjoy a happy meal at fast food chains, have their own personal car, travel far and often for vacation, and so on. We have come to the source of the stress. On one hand, we have the shiny promises for a quality of life. On the other hand, we have the requirements to get there. The problem is that these requirements are very high, and very few of us can meet them. It's not just about hard work, but also about your social status, your name, your nationality, your skin color, your language, your gender. All of these are factors that are baked into the requirements. But capitalism doesn't talk about them. Capitalism only talks about hard work, merit, and free markets. These three things are supposed to be the expression of the good morality of the system. And we are stressed that we either do not work hard enough or we do work hard enough, but we keep missing the target and our quality of life is not improving. Psychoanalyst Josh Cohen writes, "The shrinking labor market impacts those with work as much as those without. Competition for jobs drives down wages while imposing even greater demands for efficiency and dedication. An army of potential workers is on hand to replace us if we slip or slide, intensifying pressure on the job and closing down escape routes from it, giving rise to feelings of resignation, despair, and entrapment. Many of us caught in the struggle to maintain a decent standard of living or simply to survive find ourselves stuck in or chasing after stressful, unfulfilling work. The problem is not that we work, but that it feels it is in vain. Even when we achieve a milestone like maybe buying a house, if we are lucky, There's always a new, higher, never-ending material milestone that appears in front of us. Renovate the house, upgrade the car, upgrade the TVs, travel to even more exotic destinations, find even more outrageous excitement, and so on. We often wonder, how did these thoughts get into our heads? Why do I always want the latest phone, the latest gadget, the newest car, new clothes every year? Who put these thoughts into our heads? It's the system, through advertising, through the way we are told we have to consume, because if we do not consume, the system stops. And it's going to be very bad for all of us, back to the caves. And the system needs us to work, to produce, so we can buy what we produce. It is almost that we forgot what the purpose of this game was in the first place. Was it not to have a good quality of life? Yes, but which quality of life and whose? Of course, it's the quality of life that the system itself told us we are supposed to have. A quality of life based on a lot of economic agitation, extraction of natural resources, lots and lots of work, to make lots and lots of products that most of them end up as waste. Then repeat the whole shebang every day, non-stop, to keep the system growing. Why? So all humans could participate in the game, allegedly. Josh Cohen writes again, our perpetual busyness is fueled by a culture that derides or trivializes the need to stop. An ethos of anxiously competitive workaholism ensures that millions of men and women spend a vast proportion of their lives at work. Ads for energy drinks and flu remedies promise to power through illness and exhaustion and spare us and our employees a day off. And you know what is the most hidden and perverse secret of this game? It's that the inequalities we see, rich versus poor, private yachts versus low-quality public transportation, mansions versus slums, gourmet organic foods versus frozen industrial mass-produced food, all these inequalities are part of the design of the system. Capitalism cannot function without these inequalities. They are essentially the differential between how work is paid, how prices of goods obtain their added value, and who has the power to make all these decisions. For example, the system pays a Congolese child up to $2.50 per day to dig up cobalt with their hands. A smartphone that uses about 8 grams of cobalt, dug up by children, sells for over $1,000. Then, because of this, Apple stock trades at $170, Samsung stock trades at $56, Tesla at $190. CEO of Apple makes $63 million in 2023. Elon Musk wants $55 billion as pay for being a CEO. All these differentials come from the structures of capitalism that have a deeply undemocratic connection between property, power, and capital. The system cannot be fully tamed if this structure is not phased out and replaced by a different one that works for all humans. These differences between the price of labor in Congo and the price of a CEO, the price of a raw gram of cobalt at the mine versus the price of a final product, all these differences, including all the added value along the supply chain, they add up and fuel the engine of the system. I do not mean this just metaphorically. This fuel is what keeps the system alive. It cannot exist without it. Just like with any engine, when there is no fuel, there is no movement of the engine. Our stress exists because these differentials, these inequalities are getting bigger and bigger. They put more and more pressure on us to work even harder to stay in the game. They put more and more pressure on us to extract even more cobalt, nickel, lithium, copper, manganese, and so on. We are lured with images of higher quality of life, but we are never told the hidden story. See, but cannot touch, touch, but cannot taste, taste, but cannot eat. It's a constant delivery of unfulfillment, sprinkled with tiny doses of mini-fulfillments that never hit the mark completely, leaving us in permanent desire and trepidations. Physician Gabor Maté writes, chronic illness, mental or physical, is to a large extent a function or feature of the way things are and not a glitch, a consequence of how we live, not a mysterious aberration. By its very nature, our social and economic culture generates chronic stressors that undermine well-being in the most serious of ways, as they have done with increasing force over the past several decades. There is no equality of opportunity in stress, any more than there is in economic life. The structure of a society based on power and wealth, with built-in disparities along racial and gender lines, leaves some people far more psychologically burdened than others. So it seems capitalism as the predominant economic system today is the actual cause of our stress. What is the potential good news then? Can we remove the stress, undo the trauma, and get to a quality of life that is real, not imagined? Yes, fundamentally yes. Is it easy? No, not really. Is it possible? Yes, very much so. Is it necessary? Yes, absolutely. What needs to happen is to break the link between economic growth and quality of life. We can have a good life, truly meaningful, free of stress and illusions of material accumulation. Quality of life does not have to depend on waste, exploitation of cheap labor, rapid extraction of resources, enormous differences in income and wealth, extravagant lifestyles, and tyrannical hierarchies of power. So what comes first? Do we build a new economic system which will reduce our stress? Or we work inside capitalism, refuse to play along and hope our stress will go down? If we slow down the economic engine deliberately and democratically by eliminating those insane differentials and create a framework for a new system to emerge, we will see our stress go down. We will gain more confidence that a much better society is possible. We will actually believe that we can have a good quality of life, described by meaningful accomplishments. Before all of that happens, which requires large mass mobilization, thoughtful political strategy, massive grassroots organizing and coordination, there's something we can do today to mitigate stress. Stop wanting more that is beyond our reach. Avoid advertising. Reject the manipulation that wants you to consume. Don't enter the never-ending spiral of wanting to make more money so you can spend more. Have a hard limit of income at $111,111 per year. Don't want more than that. Add more meaning to your life, not more expenses. Maintain the quality of your entire relation to society and nature. Compress your material needs so you can expand the satisfaction of your psychological well-being. Refusal to play along with capitalism goes hand in hand with living as if the new system is already here. There's no need to project your hopes and expectations into the future and continue to be unfulfilled in the present. Behave as if that future is real now, today. You can say screw you to many things: working overtime, new fashion, consuming advertising, visiting shopping malls, flying 20 hours to Bali, buying a new TV. When your material needs are satisfied and you still feel a strong desire for accomplishment, you can turn on your creativity and engage in arts, social entertainment, social games that don't need many things to be played and are also friendly with nature. Next, grab all opportunities not to be alone, not to consider yourself a helpless individual in a sea of sharks. Associate with other humans that want to save civilization from capitalism, not obliterate nature for future generations. This is only the beginning of the good news. It is opening the door of possibilities. You can look at examples of care from many places, such as La Via Campesina. Locally, see if there are any groups that want to slow down the engine of capitalism and construct a well-being economy. Join them or create a group yourself. When enough of us belong to groups like these, we can amplify the pressure on the engine until it slows down and stops. Meanwhile, we design the new system and turn it on. If you can, please support me through the links below to cover the costs of these videos. Future videos will likely not be possible without your support. I will never collect money from advertising. Until next time, be well and increase the peace.